Evening, everybody, and welcome to the wrap up for the first day of free agency, or at least the first day of legal tampering in free agency. So, today was kind of mixed. On the one hand, the positives, the stream was awesome. I was able to start the stream half an hour earlier than I was thinking. We started at 9:30. Immediately people started flooding in. Pretty much immediately we had over 100 people, 200, 300. It kept building. We were all sitting here getting really excited, covering all the stuff that was going on in the NFL. There was a lot of movement, especially within that first hour or so of the stream. There was a lot of actually big stuff happening. There was a lot of significant movement, and we were all having fun. I think we ended up peaking at about 800 viewers at one point. We managed to get the stream past 500 likes by the end. The likes were coming in. People were being very supportive. They were participating in chat. So the stream went awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing how this can carry over into the next 4 days. We're going to be doing it just like this for the next 4 days. And based off the way things went today, I think it's going to continue to be awesome because people were making sure that this stream, even when things weren't happening, even when we went like half an hour, 45 minutes without anything happening, people were still engaged. People were still talking. Even when I actually stepped away from the computer for 45 minutes because I fell asleep, people were still hanging around, people were still engaged, and people came back when I returned. So the stream was great, looking very forward to the next 2 days, or the next 4 days, excuse me, and seeing where the rest of the NFL action goes down. Now, in terms of what actually happened today for the Seahawks, yeah, that's where the mixed part of this comes in. The Seahawks didn't do anything. Well, okay, they did one thing. They officially, which we already knew this was going to happen anyway, they officially released Shelby Harris, which, again, I mean, we all kind of felt it coming, and Shelby Harris basically indicated it several days ago. So it was going to happen one way or the other. That's not really news. Other than that, the only thing that happened to the Seahawks today in any measurable way was we lost Cody Barton, who very few people miss. And we don't know what the particulars of that deal are, but I think very few Seahawks fans are going to be shedding a tear over that. So that's kind of like whatever. I know there are a couple people who liked Cody Barton a little bit more, and I will say he will probably look better on that Washington team than he did here. But at the same time, I don't think anybody's upset about it. But at the same time, the team just didn't do anything. There were no signings. There were no indications of interest outside of one early day report of us being in on David Onyemata from the Saints and ending up not getting him. Other than that, we didn't really hear much of anything. There was a running joke in the chat throughout the day that a lot of people were saying, "Oh, the John and Pete slept in," and it kind of felt like that at times. So it was a very quiet day one. I will say this. So looking at what the Seahawks need right now, okay, linebacker. There were a bunch of linebackers that got signed today to various deals. Some of them huge deals, like Edmonds got a huge deal, which I didn't expect. We had guys like Singleton go for a little bit less than I was expecting, maybe. You had a guy like David Long going for a relatively reasonable deal, but then you had Bobby Okereke going to the Giants for way more than I was expecting. So a lot of linebackers off the board, but there are so many decent linebackers in this crop of free agents that I don't have any problem with hanging back on that position. Like, I'm looking at my tier lists right now. There are probably 15 to 20 capable, decent linebackers that the Seahawks can still sign in free agency just that I know of. So I think hanging back, letting those first teams, those teams with all the money, spend big on free agent linebackers is the right thing to do there because there's definitely going to be people left. Everyone else is going to be out of money, and you're just going to be able to step up and get somebody at a good price. Like, yeah, we missed out on Singleton, but Perryman could be there for a reduced price in a couple days. And if it's not him, then it could be somebody like Deion Jones or Corey Littleton, Aziz Al-Shaair, Quan Alexander. The list goes on and on. There are going to be linebackers there. So I completely understand sitting back and being passive at a position like that. Same for running back. Honestly, there are a lot of capable running backs that are still out there in free agency. A couple got picked up, like the Giants re-upped Matt Breida. But you've still got Rashad Penny, Jamal Williams. You've got Donta Foreman out there, Alexander Madison, James Robinson, group of other guys as well. I'm not worried about us picking up a backup running back. That's going to be easy. However, there are some positions where the need to be aggressive is clearly there. There are a couple of positions where the early bird is really going to get the worm here. We can't just sit back and wait and pick up whoever's left when everyone else gets to go, because there just aren't enough quality guys. So, yeah. Center is starting to become a little bit of a worrisome spot because we literally don't have a center except for Joey Hunt. Today we saw Jason Kelsey come back, and of course he went back to the Eagles. We knew that. But we also saw Ethan Posick go back to the Browns. So right now we're basically looking at Connor McGovern, and then space, Garrett Bradbury, space, Jake Brendel, space, and John Feliciano, space. So with each center that comes off the board, what you can expect to get from the best remaining player at that position goes down significantly. So unless you are just planning to let it ride completely on a rookie, maybe two rookies, because you're going to need two centers, or unless you have some magical plan to make Damian Lewis a center, which to me is absurd. We've already moved his position once. You need to spend. You need to go get one of these guys, and you might have to overpay a little bit because it is a little bit early. I completely understand sitting back, waiting for the guys who are going to be cheaper. In some areas, it makes sense. Like linebacker, it makes all the sense in the world. Running back, sure, maybe even wide receiver. Guard, but center, either go for it or you better be ready to spend a high pick on one in the draft. Defensive line is another area where people are starting to get antsy because we need so much. Like, we literally don't have defensive linemen right now, it almost feels like. We have Quentin Jefferson and Al Woods and Brian Monet with a torn ACL. So Draymond Jones and Dalvin Tomlinson, to me, are the clear most desirable defensive linemen left in the free agency period. And then you have Zach Allen and Matt Ioannidis and Greg Gaines in the next tier. And then after that, you're starting to run into some issues with the level of quality depth. Billings, A'Shawn Robinson, Akeem Hicks are all right. And then you're starting to really scrape the barrel here. So you need multiple pieces on that defensive line. You're not going to be able to do it all in the draft. So at those positions, I hope there's a little bit of urgency there. Apparently, Draymond Jones is working with the Browns on a potential deal. So he may be off the board soon. And if that's the case, that's unfortunate because I was a big fan of his. But you're going to have to start going after these players. You can't just sit back and say, hey, well, we're just going to wait for the prices to come down. You don't have a good enough defensive line to do that. That is an area of the team where you need to get way better immediately, and you're not going to be able to just do that with rookies and bargain bin guys. So that's really all I got to say about the first day because we didn't do much. But, yep, better things coming tomorrow. Thank you, everybody who showed up to the stream. Peace out. Go Hawks. I will see you guys soon.